share to give context. I'm good with unmuting. I kind of find discussions better than the chat window because you never really get a dialogue going. But with that, I'll start. I wanted to focus a little bit here. I had something happen this morning, which really ties to today's talk. We want to understand how do we sprint in the journey with regards to DevSecOps and how does that incorporate Vault? Just so everybody understands, historically, I was the R&D head for site reliability engineering. Matt Cole, who's joining us, is a distinguished engineer from that team. I was also the head of application security, which is like a fledgling organization within the security space that's being created specifically to deliver secure code within secure environments. So this insight that we're sharing is in response to trying to stand up those organizations and change the practices when we already have some in place. So I'll actually go into a little touch on what Benchmark does. These are the types of areas that we focus on. DevSecOps automation and containers is one of our core focuses for our customers. And I'll go into why, because it actually happened this morning. I'll show you what happened this morning. That this wasn't long ago, and I'll show you what date. This is just an example. Someone stated, you know what, if you don't pass all the security and privacy gates, forget it, you're not deploying. I put my comment out there. The reason being is you got to start somewhere. If you have vulnerabilities within secrets, if you have vulnerabilities within your code, that's okay. We all start somewhere. When you add new technologies, the intent is not to gate or punish. The intent is to collaborate to make sure that you're improving regularly. That's the DevSecOps side. The DevSecOps isn't saying gate really well by automating tools that tell you things are bad. It's about telling you what things are bad so you can make an informed decision to say, is it a go or no go? And if it is a go, let's improve iteratively. Right? You're trying to collaborate. So this is the mentality that we're taking when we go forward, adding technologies that highlight additional risk that we either accepted or were unaware of. It's not about blocking people because they're doing something that we weren't aware of before. You want people to share. You don't want to hide, right? So this is January 13th, 2021. And then there was a multiple group of CIOs saying, good job on this comment, not mine, on the one that's actually wrong, right? You don't block people because they have vulnerabilities. You coach and help so they progressively improve, because every day will never be 100. The whole point here of DevSecOps and using secrets is all about adding modern technologies, adding modern capabilities, not to hit 100. It's never going to happen. It's to keep moving the 100 out where you don't need it. So if that was true, if we continuously improve, then no one will ever release. So I wanted to challenge this thought before we start, because this is today's mentality. This is how we're going to challenge it, and we're going to show you demos that allow for that. Okay, so I kind of start with the premise, which is, hey, there's a lot of fun that can be had when we're doing POCs and POVs in labs, but the moment it goes to production, there's a lot of complexity. There's regulatory, there's security requirements. This is when we need to bring in capabilities such as Vault, Sentinel, to make good decisions that don't hinder our team from scaling, right? Because we really want to sustain and scale. You need to consider these regulatory governance requirements, make sure the brand's not impacted. How do I do it? It's pretty hard, right? So our focus has been, hey, we're going to focus within the CI/CD on removing toil and removing the need for heroics so that you don't have a spend that goes quite wrong. And the realities of it today is, I want to go through quickly. I don't want to share too many slides. I actually want to go to the meat. COVID did not push digital transformation out further. I like where there's media covering this. I'm not against the media. I love the media. But in this aspect, IDC published that basically digital transformation has been cut in half on the capability of spend because the economy is hurt. So how could you actually say that COVID's pushing digital transformation? It's putting pressure on digital transformation, but our ability to execute hasn't changed because we haven't come up with better methods. Okay, so let's talk a little bit what we're going to do today and what we're going to cover. If you buy gear or subscriptions, you rack or stack or create VPCs, you want to stand up a platform or a container platform or containers as a service, you need to build out something that helps you with operational management, overhead, and technology sprawl. The more systems you take, the more data centers you manage, it becomes really difficult. right? Because you have the same team. No one's going to say double your team because you have to adopt Azure. No one's going to say double your team because you're moving to Google. No one's going to say double your team because you're moving from AWS to Google because you like that one now more. What essentially happens is you have your dependency on CI/CD and what's integrated with it, how you handle security. Because if you don't handle security, it becomes a bottleneck, or it becomes something you just leave as risk. Then you got to solve the DevOps portion, remove the inefficiency. What I mean by DevOps is not roles. It's about what is the process, and we'll show you what it is, how to remove inefficiency so that I can deliver live code to wherever my data centers are, even if I have 2 today, 4 tomorrow, 8. It's just, we're going to get more and more data centers as it becomes more easy to stand them up. So our approach, and we'll show you how we do it within the demo that Matt's going to show. Your tools, you can switch them out. CI/CD doesn't say it has to be specific tools, but some of them have specific capabilities. So it's very relevant if you say, I don't do secrets management today, you need to bring in something that's capable of integrating with CI/CD, that's cloud agnostic, that can sprawl multiple clouds, that's not specific to a single cloud, because your problem's more than one single cloud, which aligns very much within our practice, why we have a great strategic alliance, writing white papers and things with HashiCorp. Their mantra and our target are the same. Your rules, again, we'll show you how you integrate your roles in CI/CD and how you use that with Sentinel and Vault. And then again, your talent. Everybody has talent constraints. If you don't have talent constraints, you don't know you have talent constraints. There's no way that you don't. I'll go into the model and I'll see where everything plays, because I think this is where we want to go. I'm going to have my clouds. I don't think there's any organization today that's either one particular data center or has no plans for having another data center, be it someone else's or their own. This is our DevOps or DevSecOps enablement model. You just need to lay out where you need the capabilities so that you can achieve your goal. We're going to show you today a Jenkins orchestration pipeline that integrates with many different capabilities, including Vault and then potentially policy as code, right? This is how it all interacts. And then we also have a pipeline governor. That pipeline governor is the most important part in DevSecOps. It runs above the orchestration layer to tell security people what the fitness of the orchestration is, rather than gating because you didn't have a meeting with me. We need to change that mentality that you do everything I say or I'm going to fail you. It needs to be dynamic. I need to keep stating what my measurements should be, and you need to keep trying to reach them. And if you try to reach them, I treat you extremely well. If you ignore them and degrade, I'll gate you because you're not following any of the rules. But adoption is the requirement, not 100% compliance, because there is no such thing. And there should be no such thing, right? Let's try to also reduce the operational management overhead. You can't be having people deciding where secrets go. And you can't be deciding how secrets are used. You need to set a precedent for people to consume and use secrets, and it should be a non-discussion. Like when Matt showed me his demo, which we're going to do in about 2 minutes, I was like, where's the secret? He's like, it's all handled. When it's handled, it's not a big challenge, right? It's just straightforward, it's integrated, and it works. And then values are kept, the secrets are kept within the vault, and you don't need to have these teams putting in potentially, clear text passwords within runs. So I'll try to skip ahead. There's a couple of things that we do within the idea of measuring inefficiency within process or measuring security. Surprisingly, in this example, if someone would tell me what they think the most important highlight is, this was a PCI compliant environment, but security had 0 hours spent on it. How does that work? So we created a calculator to measure organizations where they, use their hands when they should be allowing orchestration. But it also highlights where they're not doing things because they've accepted the risk, or they've accepted that I don't need to spend time on these numbers. So that's one piece of it. And then I'll just go into, our strategies are not a secret. There's a pun intended there. There's common methods when you don't have Vault in place. Base 64 is one of them. I don't know how many people use it today, and the demo is next. You can encode and decode based on grabbing the strings. So if you have a base 64 encoded header, headers aren't encrypted. You could take a header that says, secret or password, put it into this website, decode it, and then you got the password for that transaction. This is where we are playing within development. Because people are gating us, we're trying to create solutions that may not meet the business requirements, but they look somewhat good. You have other ones where, you have passwords in Jenkins output files. Here's my echo out my login and password. It happens. These are methods that you're doing because you don't have a secrets management approach. And then on the right side, I'm not saying that the reveal secrets are the challenge within, let's say, Kubernetes, where an administrator can go in. The problem is sometimes you have to give development access to Kubernetes so they can validate the secrets. So I don't know how many times I've been in a system where you deployed and there's a authorization error. They're like, oh, let me go look at the secrets in Kubernetes. So they go in and then reveal it, and you're like, all of them are shared at once, right? You're seeing a list of attributes that show how the whole system entirely integrates together. These aren't good methods, right? Because who has access to Jenkins and TFS? A lot of devs. Who has access to Kubernetes? All of ops, and then devs too, because devs need to see them when things are breaking in production and the ops needs assistance. So I try to show you examples of CI/CD that have, this is an OpenShift example. The red lines are stuff that we're tracking from a security pipeline governor perspective. What's your image quality? What's your source code status? What do your binaries look like? What did your pen test do? All these sorts of things that are integrated. You can have examples that are Google specific. All of these leverage Vault, all of these leverage secrets management, all of these leverage in our eyes also Terraform, because it's super important infrastructure as code and config as code. And with that, I'll stop. I think I've shared enough to prove the point that you want to orchestrate, you don't want to gate. You need to find a way to integrate security within CI/CD. We call it governance engineering. I didn't want to spend too much time on that. But I want to switch into the next mode. You need a change agent. You need a brilliant engineer. Sorry, Matt, I'm doing it. You need a brilliant engineer to come in within your team and show you what better looks like. Matt was that for me in previous organizations. I love working with him. He's brilliant. Those on the call who's worked with him know he's brilliant as well. And he's put together how seamless it can be within the context of CI/CD. So with that, after I pumped up here, I hand over to Matt Cole.
All right, I'll have to get you to stop sharing so I can share.
Okay, I have new share. Let's see here. Give me 1 sec. Got it.
Cool. Okay, what I actually wanted to do today, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, what I actually want to do today is what we find in different companies in the industry right now. I could have did a demo and did Kubernetes with Vault templating with sidecar injection. The problem is I feel like a lot of people see that demo, but they don't know how to consume that, and they actually aren't ready to consume that. What we see is a lot of traditional Jenkins pipelines, as well as just secret management. So a lot of companies aren't ready to do dynamic secrets with sidecar Vault injection using templating. Like if I give that demo, people's probably seen that demo, I give that demo and everyone just goes, that's really cool, but we're not there. So what I want to do today is build a demo based on what we see at companies right now and how simple it can be to switch over. Because a lot of pushback we get is you put Vault in, but they say, well, when we're on a more modern platform, getting out of Jenkins with Vault integration, we'll start using Vault. Or we don't want to change all of our Helm templates to use Vault templating. So we'll wait till we do a new greenfield application, then we'll start consuming Vault. So what I just want to do here is build a demo consuming Vault using Jenkins and not doing anything super awesome special, literally just consuming secrets from Vault within my Jenkins pipeline. Quickly, I'll just go over how that's kind of set up. Basically through our Jenkins, we're using an app role. So that app role allows Jenkins to get a token from Vault, and then it can use that token to retrieve secrets from Vault. So we'll just quickly show here. So I have my secrets engine enabled. It's just key value secret engine. I'm sure Raf and team will go through all different use cases, all different types of engines you can do in Vault. So I'll just keep it super simple for now. I just have some data secrets. I have based on environment and some database stuff. And then I just have some integration secrets. So reaching out from Jenkins to other platforms. I'm keeping all my secrets into my integration section for that. Obviously I have my Jenkins pipeline code here, which I'll go over in a second. And then for our app role for Jenkins, we just have a policy set up for Jenkins that it can consume those secrets in those locations, and it can read and list them. So we're saying Jenkins can only do this based on this app role ID. So if our Jenkins gets compromised, normally if your Jenkins gets compromised and you're using the Jenkins built-in secrets, I mean, anyone can just print out all the secrets in the secret store and read all those secrets out. So we're limiting what Jenkins can do within Vault, and we're limiting the path, and also they're not being stored in Jenkins itself. So just go quickly over here. So all we're doing with inside our Jenkins file is we're defining our secrets. You could break this up, so you could do dev secrets, QA secrets, prod secrets. I just call the secrets for now. We're defining all our secrets, so where the secrets are located, and mapping the Vault key within a Vault, so within the secret store, to a Jenkins environment variable. And then we're using those secrets with each step. So we're just defining what we're using. So the configuration is this configuration, so it's to our Vault server. So if you had multiple Vault servers for different environments, you could define the configuration for those environments and tell where the secret's going to be called from. And then obviously the Vault secrets are defined as secrets. At the top here, you see it's defined. What this allows us to do as well is if you're a developer writing a Jenkins pipeline for your application, or a DevOps engineer, you actually don't need to know the secrets. You just need to know the secret path. So if you, for example, what we see traditionally is we'll get through dev and QA, and then once we hit production, the pipeline actually stops, and people actually either manually enter the passwords for different deployments. So they go in and they fill in Jenkins variables with those production passwords, and then run the pipeline from there. And then you can actually just see the passwords in the console after the deployment's been done. Or two, we're going to use Helm for this to do a Kubernetes deployment. And what I also see is either the passwords hard-coded in Git in the values.yaml for each environment. Or the passwords are set via, like I said, via command line, but hard-coded in via command line for the passwords. So once the deployment's run, you can just see whatever the password may be. So what we're going to do, just a quick, easy pipeline. We're going to check our Sonar Cube results. We're going to pump those results into Jira using just a standard API connection to Jira to create a ticket. And then we're just going to do a deployment to two separate environments with two separate set of secrets directly from Vault. So I'm just going to run that here. And then we'll watch the output, and you'll see the output. It goes that it's going to reach out to Vault. It's going to use that app role. It's going to reach out to Vault, and then it's going to pull those secrets from Vault during the running of the pipeline. So you see here, we're retrieving the secrets. So we're retrieving the secrets from the Vault, and then we're going to use those vaults. So first I used it on my Jira. So you see here, I'm using it under authorization. You can't see what the secret is. I don't know what the secret is. I had other guys set up the secrets. I have no idea what they are, but it has no bearing on my deployment methods. I don't have to stop. I don't have to fill in passwords. I just know the passwords exist in Vault. So we got the results from our quality gate, and our next thing, we're going to pump it into Jira. So we know the Jira username and password. We don't know what it is, but it's in Vault. So I just called it and said, retrieve the username and password. And it's going to pump a ticket out to Jira and create a Jira with those results we just did. So here it goes, it's pumping it out. And if we actually go look at, I kind of want to do a bunch of methods for how it's consumed. So we got username and password directly from Vault here. I don't know what they are, but Vault does, and that's all that matters. And then we're going to do two different deployments, one to a dev environment, one to a QA environment. And it's going to use two separate set of secrets for the deployment, as you can see here. So via command line, it's setting the passwords via the Vault secrets. And for dev, and I don't know what those passwords are, but like I said, it doesn't affect me in any way. And then we're going to do a QA deployment. And all the passwords are kept, it's stored, and managed from a Vault perspective. All right, and that's the demo. That's all there is to it. It's pretty simple, pretty easy wins. What we usually get is people don't want to rewrite their Jenkins pipelines, but like as you can see, it's only a few lines of code within the Jenkins pipeline to start consuming. And I didn't have to rewrite all my Helm templates to consume Vault templating. Actually, just storing the passwords and creating those secrets during the installation of the Helm chart. So I don't have to go back and rewrite all those Helm charts, and you don't have to save all those changes for a greenfield application and write it from rewrite the Helm charts with Vault in mind. You can start consuming them and get a centralized location for your secrets off the bat. That's it.
We have some questions in. So how do you generate the Vault key for this integration?
Yeah, so the app ID role, it has we set up the app role in Vault itself, and it itself generates a token every time it reaches out, and it has an expiry. You can set that expiry whatever you want it to be, and it then based on the key that gets generated, our token that gets generated, then it's able to go and retrieve secrets. So I think ours is for this demo was 30 minutes, but you could set it as low as 5 minutes if you wanted to.
Awesome. There was a couple of questions with regards to if we could, I said we could get a Git repo set up that could share the Jenkins file itself so people could practice it or learn it. And then additionally, someone asked if we could include an architecture, or we can for sure just add that to the Git repo, a flow of how things interact within it so that there's an understanding of how it's operated. Because our intent here is to show better ways for security to integrate within CI/CD, better ways for us to change what we're doing today, right? There's a lot of, I think the statistic is like 79% of organizations use Jenkins for CI/CD. It was a recent NewStack study from, I think the CNCF. And we want to improve there. Like we work with a lot of customers today to make rapid, accelerated change for their pipelines. It's generally Jenkins, and the improvements make a big difference, right? You're solving a lot of issues, like, and Matt covered some of them, but the reality is those keys and passwords are shared. Like we know they're shared. Everybody knows, hey, do you need to get into this? Oh, I know what the password, yet you being shared with you, we're onboarded. We kind of like onboard people with the secrets that they need to know. And in this case, you don't need to know them. Let Vault handle that. So there's a multitude of benefits to implementing this. And not having to know all these things is actually really exhilarating, that you don't need to worry about, is this going to be a vulnerability? Am I in the wrong state? Who else knows this? What happens if it doesn't work and it's the wrong password or it's outdated, right? This is where you're not in the circumstance, oh, my password's expired, oh, AD changed it. You're in a good state to manage it within Vault. Are you using the Jenkins plugin, Matt?
Yeah. There's an official Vault plugin for Jenkins that allows that's where Jenkins, you put in the app ID and the URL, obviously the URL of the Vault server. So once you create that app ID role, that's what goes into the plugin so that Jenkins know to use that app ID.
So the other one is basically the build output and reference. Will the configuration that you're using within Vault, will you be able to see within the output any unencrypted objects with relation to the secrets?
No, they just come back as the stars. It doesn't print them out. Yeah.
So that's the difference. Like in many respects, the output before is actually key value pairs that come through sort of that become output that it drew and it got the value. Or you can have ones where people do some sort of level encryption. I find base64 is the most common that people use. But again, that could be taken and decoded. So hopefully I answered Paul's question. Yeah, and we use the official Vault plugin. Any more questions? Because we have an allotted 35 minutes. We figured you'd have more, let's say another 5-6 minutes of questions before we jump into the workshops. And if you want to be unmuted because you don't want to type too much, or that you use the 2 fingers to type, then we can unmute you and you can give it a shot. Okay, with that, I hope it was quite valuable. At this point, I'd like to pass off to Raf, who will lead the Vault workshop and walk you through what we're going to do, walk you through the agenda, and then we're going to break out into groups to do our workshops and labs.
Right on. Thanks, Shlomo, Matt.
I think we should. I think you guys are sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries.
We'll just cover that one question, which you'll probably cover today.
Yeah.
It was about database passwords, and I'm almost positive you covered today. There's so what I was using there was the key value engine, but there's a database engine, and we actually had it set up for that as well. So once the database for my deployment is set up, there's a database secret that creates a connection string to a database and actually can roll the password for the database. But I'm sure Raph will cover all of that, all those use cases. There's